right, so welcome everyone. Today we're going to do a Yin class. So I've often taught a chair yoga session or one where we just do a sort of vinyasa, standing without any help from a chair. Today we're going to do a class where we focus more on longer held poses. So we're not specifically targeting the muscles alone, but also the fascia, the joints. And we can, because we have half an hour, we will choose to do a bit more for the upper body and for the hips to open it up. So especially when working behind the computer, it's really nice to also do some exercise that you can hold for a longer period of time. And then afterwards, in between every pose, we will lie down for a moment and you can experience like the rebound, so to speak, the sensation that comes after getting out of a stressful situation. So I will talk you through it. Make sure that you have your phone turned off, that there's no notifications coming in. And for example, music can be really nice to help you. So if you, for example, have no Erik Satie or any kind of slow piano music, that might be nice to put on. And we can do it in silence as well, because there's always something to focus on. But having said that, you can just come into a cross-legged position. Just placing your hands on your knees. And already here it might start. Maybe you sit like cross-legged and you think, what? I don't know about this. Just sit on top of a towel or on top of a blanket. So I'm just sitting on that blanket, this folded blanket, and I place one foot and I place the other foot maybe in front. Some of you might be able to place one foot on top of the other, but just having said that, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to make you a better yogi. But if you feel you want to go deeper into this and want to sit like kind of half or full lotus, be my guest. As long as you can sit here a little bit longer than we normally are used to. I don't like this for a long time. So I'm going to sit like this. Placing the hands on the knees, you can just lengthen yourself and lifting the crown of your head up. Drop your shoulders down, hands on your knees. And then just close your eyes so that we give ourselves a moment to arrive here on our mats. And we can just leave the day or let the day behind us. So from this moment, we can just become aware of our bodily senses, our breath, and all those thoughts that maybe come up and pass by again. Let's just try to take a little step back and just look at it. Just know that all these thoughts will come and go. We don't have that much influence on that process, but we can at least acknowledge if a thought passes by and it triggers you in a certain way, to acknowledge that you are triggered, that it just makes you annoyed or longing for something or aware. And that's the only thing. You just notice that it does something with you and then you drop it again. And then the one thing that we focus on is our breath. So just notice by breathing in and out. Maybe listen to the sound of your breath. Just keep that breath alive. And with your eyes closed, start to at least notice your surroundings. There's always subtle or more audible sounds that might ask for your attention. And you can just acknowledge that you hear something, but again, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to think, hey, I hear a car, hey, I hear somebody talking. It's just a sound. Just listen to the quality of it. A sound can be hard or dull. A sound can be sharp, or it can stay with us for a moment and then leave, or it can stay with us for a longer time. So then a sound becomes something different than hearing something in specific, but it just has a quality to it. And then you can just use it to stay here in the present moment. Relax your face, your forehead, your eyebrows. Relax your jaws, your lips, your tongue. And just notice where in your body you carry any tension. And maybe trying to breathe into that area. And it's all of it is a bit more intentional. So you might not be able to physically breathe into your right hip. But whilst breathing and having your attention with the right hip, it can already help to soften, and on the exhale, to let go a little bit more. Maybe set an intention for today's short class, something that you might want to get out of it. Maybe that focusing on your breath is something that is quite challenging, then just focus on your breath over and over again. So because this is a more dynamic class and we're going to focus a bit on the upper body and the hip area, you can open your eyes again. Now I'm sitting on a blanket, and I only did that for the moment that I'm sitting still in a cross-legged position. But from this moment, I'm going to place it over here again, maybe cross my feet a little bit wider, placing the hands on the knees, and start to circle and trying to connect your breath with your movement again. And this is something that we've done in other classes as well. This is not specifically yin or dynamic yin or specifically vinyasa. It's just a nice movement where we open up the hips a bit, but we do it with our breath by continuously moving, breathing in when you come forwards, breathing out when you go back. And maybe you can try to use your elbows, your shoulders. Now just notice whether you can connect with your breath with that movement, whether you can breathe in and come forward, whether you can breathe out and go back. Inhale, open up that chest. Maybe exhale, round the spine, chin to the chest. Keeping both sitting bones on the floor, and if that's not the case, maybe make your circles a little bit smaller. You can always make them bigger along the way. And just notice how it feels, maybe with your eyes closed, in your hip area or in any other part in your body that at this point asks your attention, just because of moving into it. And again, no judgment about how you feel. You just recognize it, you just acknowledge it, and then slowly go to the other side. Breathing in gently when you come forwards, breathing out when you go back. And maybe you notice that there's one side that goes a bit easier than the other side. There's always a side that we have a preference for. Without knowing it, we use one side more than the other. And by trying to do these kind of yoga sessions, we can balance it out again. Breathing in when you go forwards, breathing out when you go back. And just keep moving, just keep connecting the breath with your movement. If you're going too fast, slow it down a little bit. Maybe you can slow your breath down as well. Maybe listen to the sound of your breath, especially that exhale. So coming back to the middle, I'm just placing these props. It's a pillow, a rolled up blanket or towel, maybe a blanket. Anything that can help you to support. For example, if you sit in the cross-legged position and you want something underneath your knee because it just feels a bit nicer, then do it. But for now, we don't need any other props. You can just bring your hands up from the side. Pause your breath, turn your palms out, exhale to just above the floor. You pause, turn your palms up, inhale. Maybe pull your belly in slightly, exhale. Listening to the sound of your breath. Another time, breathe in. Interlace your fingers. Exhale, press your palms up to the ceiling, and we just sit here, stretching it out. Dropping the shoulders, pulling the navel in slightly. Breathing in one more time. And on an exhale, we release the right hand to the floor, the right elbow. Taking the left arm over our heads. So if you're not with your elbow on the floor, let's try to come down, even if your left buttocks comes off the floor a little bit. So now we're resting here. So this is more yin-like. We hold the pose for a bit longer than a couple of breaths. Maybe you want to just rest your hands against the back of your skull. Maybe you want to bring it a little bit further down. So how does it feel on your left side? Can you feel that stress or that tension? Can you drop your left buttocks down a little bit more, your left knee? And how is the angle of your neck? Can you find the right angle? Relax your face again, your jaws. Slowly exhale, taking it a little bit further. Inhale, slowly come up, and then exhale to the other side. And I understand that some of you think, wow, this is really quite intense. I like to do it on my hand. That's fine as well. I can still feel that stretch on the right side. Just notice your head. I'm going to take my elbow to the floor, but you don't have to. You can just feel into it. I like you to use your intuition. Just listening to the sound of your breath. Just noticing that stretch on your right side. Maybe keep your eyes closed. A couple more breaths. On your next exhale, maybe lean a little bit further towards the left. And inhale, come up again. And then to the other side. Your left hand over your head. Maybe you open up a little bit more, looking towards the ceiling. On an inhale, open up a little bit further. And on an exhale, you come forwards to the middle. Bring that left hand to the left. Swing the right hand in front of you and over your head. Open it up a little bit further. And exhale. We're going to just go back and forth a couple of times. This is more like a dynamic movement. Even though it's still slow. Trying to use the full length of our breath. Listen to the sound of it. Making grand gestures here to really open up. Last couple of times. Breathe in and out. So you see, you can have a little pause on the top of your breath to calm yourself down, and then slowly coming back to the middle. Placing those hands a bit wider than your knees. Inhale, open up your chest. And on an exhale, we're going to come down. And from this moment, we're going to stay here. You're going to place your hands in front. Maybe you want to use a pillow like this, bigger pillow. And for some of us who are flexible enough, they might be able to rest their head on it. You can also turn this pillow on its side. So find your pose and see whether you can relax into it. By first noticing if this is the right posture for you, or maybe you need to adjust yourself slightly, but once you've found the right angle, relax. Close your eyes again, and then just bring your breath back to this pose. So without having to think anything of this pose, you just undergo it. You just surrender. No matter what kind of sensations come up and suddenly ask your attention, you just breathe your way through it. Can you relax your shoulders, your neck a little bit more? Now, something that helps me a lot is to bring that focus, even with the eyes closed, to that spot in between the eyebrows. So you have your eyes closed and you can still focus on that spot in between. It might help you to calm down your mind. At one point, you might not even need the pillow anymore, because you are gaining a little bit more space. You might want to take any props away from you, going a bit deeper. But try not to let me talk you into anything. Just feel into your own body. Now let's move the upper body a little bit more towards the left. So it's really just moving to the left and maybe just placing your forehead on your left knee. You might want to take your right hand a little bit further diagonally forward towards the left, and from here you might be able to feel that stretch from your right buttocks or hip. And again, sometimes you might just feel it in one area, a little area. Sometimes you feel it a little bit more over the whole side. So just notice where you feel it. Breathe into that area. Try to completely surrender. Relax your jaws, your lips, your tongue. No matter what kind of thoughts arise, you just know that they're also going to disappear again. Try not to let the mind take over or fill in any gaps. And slowly move to the middle and then to the other side. And again, maybe this time the left hand goes a little bit more to the right side. Finding your peace within this pose. Whenever you notice that the mind is taking you away from this moment, when your thoughts take a walk with you, you gently stop it, simply by returning to your breath. Just by focusing on the sound of your breath, you can get out of it without feeling annoyed that you get distracted. That's all part of the game. You have a choice how to respond to everything. All right, slowly coming back to the middle. Opening up, maybe take your hands behind you, open up your chest, breathe in, look up to the ceiling. And then slowly, I'm going to turn a little bit. You maybe are already sitting in the right angle. And then place your feet hip width, bend your knees, place your hands behind you and interlace, or not interlace, but spread your fingers. So my feet are hip width apart. My fingers are pointing forwards. I spread my hands, open up the chest, and then you take your hips up, breathe in. Doesn't matter how high, drop your head back, spread those fingers and exhale, chin to the chest and buttocks to just above the floor. Inhale, open up, and exhale. Let's do it a couple more times. Breathing in, getting a bit more stress on the shoulders. Exhale, last time on an inhale, come up. And exhale, slowly come and sit, straighten your legs, and then lie down. And then take your right knee into the chest. You can just hold on to that knee and start to circle it. Inside out, outside in. And then pull that knee towards your chest. And just hold it without making any movement. Now you can lengthen the back of your neck by bringing the chin into your chest. Maybe some of you like to have the knee straight towards the chest. Others might want to bring the knee a little bit out and then pull it up towards the armpit. And then let's straighten that leg up to the ceiling, and you can interlace your fingers behind your leg. And so your knee stays bent, and you just feel that nice stretch here on the back of your leg. Relax your face, just looking up towards your toes. So you feel that stretch, and you can just breathe your way through it. So now it's up to you how much force you want to use, but I would suggest that you don't use too much force. You just want to feel it and in a relaxed way, breathe through it so it doesn't become something that you want to get out of straight away. Now, if you loosen up the fingers a little bit, you could straighten that leg completely. Push your heel to the ceiling, toes towards your face, engage your upper leg muscles. And on an exhale, bring that knee towards your chest again. And then bring that left knee up as well. And we just simply switch sides. So you're gonna drop the right foot down, start to circle it inside out or outside in, and whatever feels good. So I can't decide that for you. You have to feel into your own body to know which way is best for you right now. Might be different next week or next class. So breathe into that left side. Even whilst moving or circling around, you can just breathe into the left side intentionally, of course. And you might even notice that you want to breathe in a bit deeper. Then just follow up on it. Sometimes I have the idea, okay, I want to breathe in deep through my nose and just a nice sigh can be a good relief. Bringing that knee into the chest or into the armpits and just hold it. Lengthen the back of your neck by bringing your chin a little bit towards your chest, but keep the head on the floor. Relax your jaws. Breathe into your belly. And maybe with every exhale, you notice sensations running through your body. Maybe just feel how your left foot is relaxed. And straighten that left foot up to the ceiling, but with your knee still slightly bent. I know that some of us are so flexible, they can even take that foot all the way over their heads. I don't think that I will ever be able to do that, but that's fine. I can still feel that stretch. That's what it's all about, to get to know your body, to know your limitations, to know how far you can take it without forcing yourself. If I would like to go even further and it would start to hurt me, I would get annoyed, maybe even aggressive. I would think, what is this for BS practice? Why can't I do this? But I'm not even going there. I'm gonna just try to go as far as feels good. Feel that stretch and gently breathe my way through it and give my body some time to also open up. Now, if we loosen up the grip, straighten that leg, engage your upper leg muscles, push your heel away from you, toes pointing to your face. Exhale, take that knee towards your chest. And then take both knees up. Keep your knees a bit wider, and you can start to just holding on to the knees from the outside and make maybe circles on the spot. I always think of a figure 8 kind of idea. Maybe just bringing the big toes together, but keep the knees wider than the hips. And that's use the core to bring yourself a little bit up. And from the outside, you bring your hands over the shins. And with one hand, I'm holding on to the fingers of the other hand, or maybe holding on to a couple of fingers. And then drop your head back down to the floor. So now you're going to feel compression of your hip bones into your upper leg muscles. And just relax for a moment. Maybe close your eyes. Relax your belly. You could even lengthen the back of your neck again. Listen to the sound of your breath. So we're going to take it to a next pose. But just gently coming up for a moment. because I want to use something as a tool. I'm going to use this blanket. So if you have a blanket or a towel, you can fold it up a couple of times so that it becomes a bit thicker. And coming back down, I'm going to put it underneath my buttocks. Then we're going to take the right foot and place it on top of the left knee. It's like reading the newspaper. And then pull that left knee towards you. So now we have this little hole here. And so with the right hand, you go through it. And with the left hand from the outside. So I have to use my core a little bit, interlacing the fingers in a relaxed way. This foot, the right foot that is on the left knee, you can point it, but I like to flex it. And then come down again, just lying down. Give yourself a moment. Some of us might have very open hips. They might have to pull that knee a little bit closer, but for me, and for most of us, this is already felt in the right buttocks, maybe even over the outside or back of the right leg. Relax your face again. So you always have the tendency to clench your jaws. The moment that you notice it, just relax. Go back to your breath. And you observe whatever comes up, whatever is alive inside of you right now, whether it's thoughts, household errands, work, a conversation with a friend or a colleague that still bothers you or you're still thinking about. You don't have to come up with any answers, you just take it in. Just let it pass by again. Without any judgment. I think that's really a good one to know. So just a couple more breaths here. And obviously, if you want to do this for a longer period of time, you can just come back to this pose after this class. Last breath here. Then gently relax. And let's just straighten the legs for a moment. Even if there's like a blanket underneath, you can just lie down. Let's take a nice inhale through the nose and a deep sigh out through the mouth. Just and notice how the energy can just flow through the body again. Just a couple of breaths. Completely relaxation. And then we're going to go to the other side. So we can place the right foot on the floor, take the left foot, place it on the right knee, pull that right knee towards you. With the left hand, you go through the hole that you've created, and the right hand from the outside. Interlacing the fingers, maybe keep that left foot flexed, gently lean back. Now you can decide for yourself whether you want to have that foot a little bit more there or here, but I think that it's perfect here with the foot somehow on top of that knee. And you should be able to feel this in your left buttocks, in your glutes. Relax your face again. Find your breath. So there's always a couple of things that you can check in with, whether this pose feels good, how your breath is, and then on a more mental level or mind level, just taking that step back to observe whatever comes up, whether it's physical, energetical, sounds, music, whatever you have around you. Just trying to stay calm. Just knowing that everything is okay the way it is. You don't have to change anything. Just a couple more breaths here. Maybe bringing your attention back to that left hip. Just notice how it feels right now. Breathing into it. Last breath here. And then gently release. Maybe taking away the blanket that maybe is underneath you. Let your feet fall out, hands next to your body, palms facing up. Lengthen the back of your neck again. Let's take one more deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Just for a couple more breaths here. And just notice whether you are more energized or whether some tiredness suddenly arises that maybe was in your body already. Just give it a bit of space. You can either lay here for a little bit longer, or you can bend your knees, hold on to the back of your knees and start to roll back and forth. Come and sit on your buttocks again. Hands on your knees, maybe your eyes closed a little bit longer. And just enjoying the aftermath of this practice. Just notice or repeat that intention to yourself if you set any for the rest of the day. Thank you very much for joining, and see you next time. Namaste. If you like, you can take a little bow forwards.